It's been a long time, Jeff, and it's wonderful to see you. Thank you for being with us today. Tell us a little bit more about where Blue Planet is, where you've come from, and some of the exciting things that are going on.
Thanks. And I have to say, we miss you at the legislature. But Blue Planet has been around for about 13 years, founded with this audacious idea of essentially ending oil in Hawaii. And through our evolution, we came to recognize that Hawaii can really be this model for the globe when it comes to climate and clean energy solutions. So that drove us to push for the 100% renewable energy law in 2015. We were the first state in the nation with such a mandate. Since then, nearly a dozen states and territories have followed. And it really proved this idea that Hawaii can be this fulcrum where we move the world. We have every resource here. We have all of the opportunities. These are solutions that the Earth is begging for right now. So we're well positioned to be that leader.
When we talk about climate change or we hear climate change, it's a huge topic. And us average persons, we can turn off the lights and stop the water when we're brushing our teeth. But there's more that we could do as well.
Right. And this is the challenge. There's a spectrum of folks who understand the depth of the issue, and sometimes they go into despair, thinking that it's all on me, And then on the other side, there's folks that feel it's someone else's problem. But somewhere in the middle, there's that sweet spot. And I think the important message there is this is a team sport. Individual actions matter, but we really have a structural challenge to deal with. And so I tell folks, whatever your passion is, whatever your talent is, use that as an avenue for helping solve our climate crisis.
So give me some examples on how people are showing up and what people are doing and how you're also guiding more creativity.
A lot of this shows up in our student impact programs. We do an annual student energy summit. We've launched something called Climate Crew, which is cohorts of really motivated high school students to take acts of climate leadership. So it might be giving a presentation to a neighborhood board or testifying at the legislature or doing an art project or a community campaign. So just finding what they're passionate about and using that to channel the energy to help solve our problem.
And how are the schools involved as well as businesses?
We have a great education program where one of our team members goes to classrooms and does some pretty engaging presentations. It really pairs well with our other two sorts of our main areas of impact, and that's our policy work. It's a critical piece to make sure that we have the right rules in place to move us to 100% clean energy in an equitable way and in a way that's done by design and not by default. And then our third important piece is what we call storytelling, which is essentially changing the conversation about energy, about how we generate and use energy, almost changing the culture of our energy. And getting people to think a little bit different. We take it for granted. You flip the light switch, you jump in the car, you fly off to Vegas, and you don't understand fully the implications of that. So how can we kind of change how people perceive and use energy?
Well, and what I hear you saying is we don't necessarily have to change everything we do, but how we do it and also how we convey the information to our younger generation.
Because there's this tension, people think, if we're going to solve climate, then we have to give up everything.
Right.
And we don't, want that kind of sacrificial. There's going to be some shared sacrifice for sure, but we're in a good position that if we get this right, we have technologies that will enable the lifestyle that we enjoy to a certain extent without compromising future generations. Thinking about solar, thinking about electric vehicles, things that are providing without, damaging our climate long term.
Now, the policy piece is probably even more daunting
Right.
than changing the story. How are you navigating through that?
As the story changes, we can help lawmakers understand that this shift is occurring. So a good example of that is, Hawaii leads the nation with rooftop solar. We have over 1 in 3 individual homes have a mini power plant on their roof right now. And because of that, for a lot of folks in Hawaii, solar was no longer an abstract concept. It was powering their home and reducing their bills. So because of that, that really helped us advance our 100% renewable energy law. And when that passed in Hawaii, that was a game changer for the utility. And like I mentioned, other states seeing that it was possible. But you're right, policy change is difficult because we're really using our democratic system that's very, public engagement and and the tensions and the politics, but asking them to look at this long-term problem and take near-term decisions. So that does occupy quite a bit of our energy.
What were some of the lessons learned during this pandemic?
So many parallels between the COVID challenge that's ongoing, unfortunately, and climate change. The main one is, sometimes big problems come in small packages. Just the tiny little coronavirus and our tiny little carbon dioxide molecule. But so many parallels with, we rely on our neighbors. You're not safe until everyone is safe. We need to bend the curve of emissions. We need to bend the curve of our infections. And the faster you do it, the better off we all are. And science matters. I think that was another underlying current. And we need government intervention. We need the right policies to make sure that we can really all be on the same page in solving the problem. So a lot of parallels. The challenge, though, is we don't have a vaccine yet for climate change. So this is going to be a different kind of challenge. It was a bit of a dry run or a test for us going through COVID globally. Do we have the right systems in place to respond to these global challenges? What's it really going to take? I feel like we were so eager to get back to business as usual that we might have missed some of those lessons. Blue Planet Foundation put together a document that we called Waypoints, which outlines 50 actions that Hawaii can take to sort of respond to this crisis in a way that both supports our economy and jobs, increases equity, and decarbonizes our economy. And a few of those policies actually passed during the last legislative session, but we do have a long way to go to really put the systems in place to make sure that we do things right here in Hawaii.
Parting words for our audience.
We share this one planet. We have one Earth and one chance. And this is the moment that we all need to come together. Climate change and these solutions, it's not a spectator sport. What role are we going to play? What's our story in helping Hawaii move to 100% clean energy, and in doing so, showing the globe what's possible?
And even if we're not that ambitious to have Hawaii be in the forefront for the world, it's for ourselves.
It is.
To make sure that we're taking care of each other.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much. Your energy is contagious.
Thanks, Lila.
As it has been over the many years. And keep us posted.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to my conversation with Jeff Mikulina, who is the Executive Director for Blue Planet.